How do I come up with the categories for my blog? Hey there, I am Abby Herman with Right Solutions, and today we are talking about blog categories. I like to think of blog categories as the table of contents of my blog. It tells my readers what information is going to be in my blog, and it really helps them to find that information. It creates sortable groups of each of my blog posts, so if someone wants to read about writing, or someone wants to read about blogging or website content, they can click on the link to the right of my blog and they can find exactly what they need. But how do you come up with the categories? Where do they come from? So one of the things I like to walk my clients through is creating zones of genius. Your zones of genius are the things that you are really good at. They are the things that your business is all about, and they are also the things that you like and want to talk about and write about. Now, your zones of genius don't only have to be your services. For example, one of the things that I talk about on my blog is business ownership. Now, I am not a business coach, and I don't coach people through owning a business and creating a business that sustains them financially, but I do like to talk about my experiences, and I like to talk about some of the things within my own business. And so I've included that as one of my blog categories. So if someone likes what they see in my business, they can check out more information about me and my business. So I'm going to do a little screen share with you and demonstrate how you can come up with your zones of genius, and then show you how you can take that and come up with additional blog categories for your business. We're going to walk through about 4 examples of how to identify your zones of genius. If you look down at the bottom here, you'll see that I have 4 possible business owners here, and so we're going to just kind of walk through how you would do that for different types of businesses. Now, I will say that I typically work with service-based businesses. If you are a product-based business, you can use this as your way of coming up with your own zones as well. So this will work across both service and product-based businesses, so don't let that deter you. I'm just using the examples of the types of clients that I typically work with. So I usually start with a Google Doc, and I use this top row of the Google Doc to include, or the Google spreadsheet, to include some of the main topics, the areas where you want to focus. So when you are deciding on your zones of genius, my recommendation is to list all of the things that you want to focus on, the things that you're passionate about, the parts of your business that you want to grow, the parts of your business that are important to you, the things that your audience needs to know about. Include those, and the things that you just really want to share. And as you come up with the zones, with those areas where you want to talk about, you probably will end up with 8, 10, 15 different ideas. I want you to narrow those down to no more than about 6. Anywhere from 5, 6, maybe even 7, depending on your blog topics. So for example, on my blog, I have more than that because I use one category to separate my guest bloggers from the rest of my blogs. And I also use a category for my more personal posts, where I talk about life and how my life and business kind of intersect. So that is the reason why I have a couple of additional categories on my blog. So think about that, and remember, what works for one person doesn't necessarily work for everyone. So you need to use these quote unquote best practices, how they work in your business, how they fit into your business. So take everything with a grain of salt. And I mean that for everything related to business, not just this. So for this example of the web designer, I have 5 different categories. And so these are kind of like the table of contents on the blog. So everything that the web designer writes about is going to relate to her inspiration, her branding in general, like how she uses branding to work with clients, business, and that could be online business, that could be business decisions, that could be business growth, web design. So that would be a really general topic, and I would actually encourage this web designer to narrow down what that means. And then, because this might actually turn into two categories, so it might be like web development versus web design. It depends on the business owner's actual business. And then entrepreneurship. So this could be like their own journey in entrepreneurship. And then what I recommend my clients do is to now start brainstorming different topics, different things that you can talk about in each of these categories. So I also recommend that as you're coming up with topic ideas, break them into questions, or I'm sorry, look at them in a form of a question. So who, what, when, where, go back to elementary school when you had to write those when you had to write those paragraphs that tell the who, the what, the when, where, the why, the how. How questions are great topics because everybody wants to know how to do something better, right? So I just plugged in some ideas using some of those question words. So where I find inspiration for my clients, my biggest design inspiration, how to generate more inspiration, top 10 tips to get inspired in business. And I'll let you read some of these, but as I was creating the business topics, I noticed that business and entrepreneurship are really the same thing. As I am thinking about it for this particular client. So I would encourage you to include some personal posts, or maybe there's a different topic that this client could use. But this is just one way to generate ideas. Once you have your ideas, and I recommend you sit for half an hour and just come up with as many topics as you possibly can. Share this with your business coach, share it with a mentor, with a friend, with a mastermind group, and have them help you generate more ideas. Once you've done that, you're not done. You actually need to take this information and strategically add it to your content calendar. And that's a whole nother process that we don't have time to go into in this video, but you do need to do that. This is not just your content calendar and now you can start writing these blog posts. No, you need to be strategic about how you're creating content, where you're creating it, when you're creating it, what platform you're using, and all of that. So let's look at the coach example because I want to give you a couple of different examples to work with here, because something that I say might spark an idea that you might have in another area. So zones and categories, so systems. A lot of business coaches work on systems. They talk about business ownership, how to network, business strategy, and business growth. And then again, we're going to come up with as many topics as we can in each of these using some of those question words. Okay, and so the same thing here. I've used why you need systems, how to make them work for you, and so on, where to network, how to network if you're an introvert. As I was doing this too, you might find that business strategy and business growth are really one category. So merge those into one category and then come up with another category or two to meet your needs. But you need to think about what is it that you do in your business, okay? What is it that you do in your business that you want your audience to know? What do you want to share with them? What gives you joy? What do you like to write about? Don't choose a category that is, maybe there's a part of your business that you're not super excited about. Don't write about it. That's okay. It does not have to be a blog category. Let's look at the author category. So the author maybe wants to talk about inspiration. Maybe it's a fiction author and they want to talk about character development or their favorite reads. Maybe every week you want to write about your favorite book. So include that as a category if it's going to be something that you are going to write about on a regular basis. You also maybe want to include your story. Maybe if you're an author, maybe you want to talk about, a lot of authors do public speaking. So when you do public speaking, maybe you talk about your process. That's a great area where you can teach others. So talk about your process, talk about where you like to speak, how you got into speaking, things like that. And then if you're a wedding planner, so something to keep in mind if you're a wedding planner, you are trying to attract people who are not quite ready to, maybe they're just getting engaged, or maybe they might be getting engaged, or they're talking about getting married. So you want to attract those people by providing value surrounding weddings in general. They need to plan a honeymoon. So even though that's not a service that you offer, you can give them tips because they are your audience. That is something that they need. And maybe that's someplace where you have someone do guest blogging around this category. Dream wedding, budgeting location, wedding parties. So something I want to talk about with wedding planning or the wedding industry in general, your blog is about providing value, not sharing your photographs and your wedding parties. It's about providing value that people want to read. That's where you will attract more people to your blog. They want to know how they can create their wedding, the wedding of their dreams. Your portfolio is where to share your photographs, your case studies of your favorite weddings or beautiful wedding venues, things like that. So just a tip for people in the wedding industry or in that very visual industry. You want to share that on your portfolio, not on your blog. Your blog is to create value. I hope this information helped you develop your zones of genius so that you can start to organize the categories in your blog. If you need more information, you can grab the downloadable worksheet to help you find your zones of genius. It's on the blog. Just enter your email address and it will come directly to your inbox. If you like the information that I've provided today, make sure that you subscribe to my channel. I post Wednesday writing tips on YouTube every Wednesday, and I also post videos on Tuesday to help work you through some of these content challenges you might have. Take care and have a great day.